You're the one they mocked, but you're the one who has left them very shocked. You let your actions and your energy do the talking. You've always operated from a place of peace, not ego. Welcome to my channel, guys. This is your girl, MamiSoTrue. So good to have you here. If this is your first time, you're welcome to join us. Hit the subscription button and join the thriving gang, the thriving community. Of course, take a moment and please hit the like button. Drop a comment below if there's something on your mind as we navigate through this conversation today. You've left them in complete shock. You've left them in shock. They cannot comprehend what is happening right before their eyes. They're witnessing it. And the more they see you thrive, the more confused they are. The more shocked they become. It's driving them crazy. What they misunderstood was that you don't operate from a place of ego. That's what they do. You operate from a place of clarity. That's why you beat them at their own game, what they least expected. They never thought the one they were mocking would destroy them and defeat them like you have. It was their dirty game, but you learned to play. You didn't do anything for validation. You weren't here to chase. You just moved gracefully with quiet, smooth, and silent conviction. Just because you weren't loud, it didn't mean you were dumb. Clarity became your weapon. They're shocked because they really thought you were so innocent, aka stupid, when the whole time you were really 10 steps ahead of them. Because ego isn't in your way, you weren't the thirsty one. You weren't the desperate one. And not even the desperate type. That's why you don't chase. You let your energy and your actions do the talking. That's why they're in shock. Because now it's impossible to control you if they can't predict you. Your calmness drove them crazy. It's driving them crazy right now. Your calmness have become their nightmare. They did everything they could to make you break. They wanted a reaction. They wanted the chaos. They wanted the screams. They wanted the crazy reactions from you. They wanted the outbursts. They wanted the cries. They wanted you to crawl and beg. But you haven't. You didn't. And now they're in shock because they thought you were that innocent. You were that sleep. They thought their spells were really working. This has left them in a bitter shock because every time they see you thrive, every time they get a whiff of you healing, every time they hear about it, it's a reminder that their entire scheme, it failed, it crashed, it's burnt. Their narcissistic tricks, turns out they didn't destroy you. They exposed what type of person you are. And it also revealed and exposed the type of person they are. Because like most narcissists and toxic people in this world, they underestimate the one who's genuine, empathetic, kind-hearted, godly. They take it all wrong. They see it as innocence. The person they thought you were, the clueless person they thought you were, it's the one person that's been through hell and back, have been through some of the worst things in life. So their betrayal, it ended up adding to your wisdom. Everything they did added to you evolving. No one has been more betrayed, misused, and heartbroken, used like most empathetic people. The one they thought was so innocent. But those heartbreaks, the betrayal, it sharpened your insight. It highlighted your emotional intelligence. It grew your discernment. So really it's beyond being shocked. They're terrified, very scared of you, afraid of you. They don't even know how to explain it. This is a feeling they can't even comprehend. And they're supposed to be smarter than you. They assumed you didn't know darkness, so they thought they could manipulate you. They thought this would go on forever. But they don't know that every lie you've ever been told has sharpened your intuition. Who you are have been exposed to them, and it's made you a nightmare. Their worst nightmare. They never saw this coming. This wasn't part of the narrative. Their narrative. They misunderstood you. You've seen darkness. You've survived it. It has judged you. It has tried to destroy you before. Some of you have gotten very close to it before. You've come out of many dark places in your life. And that's why you possess a different, unique type of strength and resilience. A kind that they would never understand. That's why they're in shock. Stuck in shock. There's nothing they can narcissistically do to shake it off either. Every time you've come out of darkness, you've come out better than they ever will. They don't know how to come out of darkness. They're too weak to fight the way you fight. They underestimated your innocence because it's not that you're naive. You've mastered how to move. You've mastered how to read a room, how to read people, how to read energy. You've mastered how to silently walk away. You've mastered how to detach and disconnect in ways that make you such a gift. A scary one for a narcissist. You're more like a nightmare than a gift. The greatest thing about your uniqueness is that you can see darkness. You can see evil clearly. But you will never be darkness or be the evil one. In spite of how much of it you've seen or had to face in your life, you would never be the one to cause pain and betrayal in such a way to someone else. You're genuine. You are a real one. They thought it was a game. And that's why they ended up getting played. They should be scared of you. Terrified. Shaking in their narcissistic boots. They should be terrified. You've broken the script. You've broken and shaken yourself out of the role that they had you in their narrative. They don't define you. They can't use you. They can't control you. They can't even predict you. That's what's made you so terrifying. You've become their worst nightmare. What they weren't prepared for. What they never wanted to face or see. Too bad. It's happening. Boom. It's in their face, just like that. They underestimated your strength. They shouldn't have played a dirty game with someone that has your type of soul. The consequences are deep. They're real. They're scary to a narcissist. They're witnessing you shine. They're witnessing you thrive. They see your success. And it's a reminder that the innocence that they thought you had, the sweetness they thought you had, it was covering a certain type of wisdom that they can never understand or comprehend. You were much smarter than you are, than you seem to be, than you appear to be. Much smarter than you look. That's why they're shocked now. Stuck in that shock. You stayed pure while you outsmarted the corrupted. This is amazing. You're at the highest level of what a human can be. You played the game. You had to play an evil game to destroy an evil person. But you were not the evil one. You just mastered how to destroy evil because they thought your quietness was weakness. They thought your innocence meant you didn't know how to play. They really thought your kindness was softness. That's why they're completely flabbergasted. They're destroyed inside. You mastered the art of destroying evil without becoming it. That's what makes you so dangerous. They thought your innocence meant you didn't understand the game. They thought your quietness meant fear. That's why they're so shocked about this defeat, because they thought wrong. They really thought your patience was weakness. But they didn't know that you really honestly saw everything. You noticed the funny mannerisms. You saw how they shifted, moved, and smirked when they were lying. You could see things in their eyes. You caught it in dreams. You heard it when it slipped and they didn't think you heard them. You were on to everything. You were far from dumb. They're shocked because it turns out you're not the fool they imagined you to be. You noticed the patterns. You saw things so clearly, it was almost predictable. It got to a point where you knew what they were going to do, when they were going to do it, how they were going to do it. It became like clockwork. But what's dangerous about you is in that moment, your lack of reaction. You weren't quick to shout. There's no need to try to expose you. I'm not going to overreact. I'm not going to kill myself. I'm going to let you kill yourself. In other words, let them overplay their hand, because that's what a smart one like you do. You know deep down inside that they're full of baloney. They're going to expose their self. The fakeness is going to show for what it is. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to do much, because you've already figured out the truth. You've already seen things clearly. Remember, you operate on clarity. That's what made you a winner. That's what caused you to destroy them. You defeated them at their own game and left them in shock. They can't figure this one out. They never will. You really didn't need to prove anything. You knew that with time, eventually their own behaviors would tell it all. It would say much more than what your words ever could. You knew that eventually they would do too much. They would cause it all to fall apart. Instead of breaking you, they broke the relationship. Instead of breaking you, they broke the manipulationship. And that's why they're in shock. That wasn't part of the plan. I'd love to read your comment. Take a moment and drop one below. Don't forget to like today's video and subscribe if you're new here. Stay blessed and stay true. Until next time, beautiful people. Bye.